Hey there, geeks! Adam coming at you with another 90s comic book haul video. There is a fantastic store that continues to replenish their back issues with 90s comics, and so I continue to go there and buy their 90s comic selections. They know me very well now. But how can I stop and I find stuff like this? Yes, let me get you a glare there. This is Purgatory #1. Look at that red foil embossed cover, and it is a wraparound. Yeah, that is insane. This is a definitely indicative of the 90s. Very exciting. But with that, I was also able to actually get the second issue. Now, I don't know if this is the ongoing, was that part of a miniseries? I'm not sure, but we had a great time covering the Lady Death books that featured Purgatory on the mini episodes. Me and at Charlton_hero, Chris Bailey, went into that. So you can go back and check that out. But also a recent poster order. I got some Wizard promo posters. The seller included an X-Men book free. And you can never get too much Jim Lee X-Men, can you? So that was very nice to add that to the collection here. This one I was very happy to grab because, as you can see, this is actually Fantastic Four, but 2099, Doom 2099 was involved in the story. I have a couple of these issues where there was some sort of crossover. I still have not read them, but of course I'm very intrigued with my love for the 2099 universe. Now, speaking of these new Marvel universes, the Marvel 2 universe is something I've always wanted to get into. I've read a lot of Spider-Girl, but the rest of them I have not. And J2, the son of Juggernaut, right? I'm very interested to find out what the background is there in this alternate reality. But look at this J2 cover. But this one folds out, but folds out for promotional purposes. Yeah, these ABC Saturday morning stuff. And then, what is this? Yeah, I mean, yo-yos? We're advertising yo-yos in the late 90s? Okay. Now, another series that I've always wanted to read, I just remember seeing it in Wizard, it excited me, is Exiles, okay? So we got this new team of Exiles here, so I was able to pick up the first few issues. Okay, so there we go. Some very cool art, like, on these issues. No wonder people were buying them, and I'm sure the stories are just as good. But yeah, look at that Wolverine there. Okay, and check this one out. They're doing a little homage to a classic X-Men cover. What else we got here? Okay, so check this out. Now, this is an issue of Resurrection Man. There's actually two of them here. So Resurrection Man 16 and 17. This is one of my absolute top 5 series of the 90s. I loved Resurrection Man. I definitely collected as many as I could. I think I got like the first 12 issues. So these are later issues I didn't get to read. And I don't see them in the back issue bins as much as I would like. So very happy to add those. Also in the mix, I've been picking up these 80s Aquaman issues. And I'm just so intrigued by this, blue costume era. And whoever had this collection seemed to be interested in it as well at the time it was happening. So add that to my reading pile. And as we get closer to Aquaman 2, maybe I'll have a greater appreciation and understanding. Getting into the world of DC, though, here, I had to grab this. In addition to just, it's always fun when you get a Green Arrow and Green Lantern team up. Steve Vance does the art in this. Steve Vance did a lot of work for Bongo Comics with Simpsons, their various titles, and I loved his work there, so I'm very excited to read this, which, it's not quite the Bruce Timm style, but it's definitely got that look to it. So I was excited to see that. Now, speaking of books I love, Gen 13, but not the era I love. This is the Gail Simone reboot of Gen 13. And again, this is what I've not read. And so I'm curious to see just really where this all comes together. I've heard it doesn't quite work from other Gen 13 fans. It doesn't have the same energy as the original, but I guess we'll see. But this is another one that I've heard mixed reviews on, Divine Right. This Wildstorm universe crossover. A lot of people said it was kind of a dud. But you have Fairchild on the cover, so I'm going to buy it, see what her involvement is and all that. Speaking of Image Comics I haven't read, but come highly recommended, Weapon Zero. So we recently posted on our social media about some Top Cow titles, and somebody said Weapon Zero was excellent, the art was excellent, so I'm ready to test that theory. Now, the big find, though, in my shopping around today was something that we've been talking about this a lot on the podcast recently, an indie book that got a lot of acclaim, and that is, yes, Scud the Disposable Assassin, okay? Now, these are some of the later issues. There was a little bit of a break, and then Rob Schraub came back. But speaking of Rob Schraub, yes, these books are signed. I got these in a pack all together. I don't think that the store knew what they had. I think they just saw, oh, okay, we'll put all these together and sell them, for a price of a multi-pack. But Rob Schraub signed all of these issues. And so I'm so excited. I'm hoping we can get him on the podcast someday. I'm sure he would be a fascinating interview. I've heard him elsewhere talk about some of his other interests. So that does it for this time around with our 90s comic book haul. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that it was fun. If any of those issues meant a lot to you or continue to be a favorite, why don't you comment down below and let us know. Is there a question I had that you have the answers to? Then please provide that also in the comments. But follow us on Twitter at Wizards_comics. Sorry, that's our Instagram. On Twitter, we're just at WizardsComics. Subscribe here on YouTube for more awesome videos. And until next time, keep your books bagged and boarded.